Hmm. Hello, friends. This is Meera Bansali presenting to you Art Connect on the Neelam Saxena page. और आज मेरे साथ है डॉक्टर प्रज्ञा बाजपेयी from Pune and प्रज्ञा जी, please introduce yourself to us, please. क्योंकि आपका इतना बड़ा इंट्रो है कि मैं बोलते बोलते मैं ही कुछ ना कुछ भूल जाऊंगी. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Meera, first of all, for inviting me to this lovely platform, Art Connect. And thanks to Neelam ma'am for giving us this wonderful platform. And I'm really excited. मैं क्या introduce करूँ? Basically, I am an artist, a poet, a writer, professor. बस थोड़ा सा प्रोफेशनल आर्ट्स के बाद जो मुझे टाइम मिलता है, I spend on little bit of creativity, and that's why I think we are here. So that's all I would like to say. And recently we've started a magazine which is Brahman, and I designed that magazine. I'm one of the editors. So that is something that I really cherish, and I enjoy working on it. So that's all for me.
Yes. So here is the very talented Pragya Bajpai ji. So Pragya ji, my question is, what is your inspiration? Like, see, any art needs an inspiration. कोई भी art ले लो, चाहे वो आपका writing हो या even photo magazine का cover जो बनाना है, उसके लिए भी तो inspiration is needed. So what is your basic inspiration? Where do you go for that? I mean, how do you shop for it?
Yes, that happens. In the beginning, it was pretty difficult for me to decide the cover. But when we had invited those pictures and photographs, we never knew that we'll be overwhelmed with such lovely paintings and photographs that I would never have any difficulty in choosing a picture. But later on, वो सारे submissions आने के बाद बहुत डिफिकल्टी हुई थी. एंड इंस्पिरेशन तो क्या, बट मैं ये जरूर बोलूंगी कि जब इतनी प्यारी प्यारी पेंटिंग्स हो, किसी की पिक्चर्स हो जो उन्होंने कैप्चर करी हैं, उसके बाद थोड़ा डिफिकल्टी चैलेंज तब होता है जब आपको सिलेक्शन करना होता है. बट येस, इंस्पिरेशन कम्स विद द थीम ऑफ अ मैगजीन. बस अगर थीम पता है तो फिर अपने आप चीजें बनती चली जाती हैं. सो बेसिकली our aim in the magazine was to make it as much as creative and as much as original as possible, because हम एक भी picture plagiarize नहीं करते हैं उसमें. None of the pictures are taken from Google or Pinterest or anywhere else, and we are so proud that we have so many lovely artists and photographers who have contributed.
Yes. So I'll get back to that because we will need more artists on Art Connect later on.
Yes.
But
Sure.
ये तो हो गया आपका e-magazine cover का. But what inspires you to write? Because obviously every writer has some inspiration or the other. So what inspires you to write?
Basically, Meera ji, I am intuitively and very strongly, evoked by art and aesthetics. And when it comes to art, it is basically the beauty around me. And it could be an ordinary thing also that inspires me. I try to find something eccentric, something offbeat in anything which is around me. And when it comes to writing, then people, their thought process, the way they converse, their situations, their circumstances, all those things inspire a lot. Because there is so much suffering around, there is so much human psychology that is at work when people are talking, when people are behaving in a certain way. Why do they do it? Because there is a certain psychology behind every kind of behavior. If somebody is really happy all the time, there is something behind it. When a person is irritable, there is something to it, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things that go behind a person's behavior. So that attracts me, and that makes me quite curious as to why a certain person is behaving in a certain way. So lot of my poems are centered around human psychology, human emotions, relationships. Nature is also one of the elements.
Nice.
So that's,
and recently we saw some very fabulous drawings by you. So what is the inspiration behind those watercolor sketches? And there was a lot of variety, and it seems like at a very young age you had done those paintings and all that. So what is the inspiration? What was the inspiration behind that? Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, that it actually happened. It started when I was 8 years old. I came to know that my father used to draw. So I
Okay.
kind of somehow inquired about it. पापा के बारे में सब ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से आसपास सभी लोगों से पूछा तो पता चला पापा कैसे बनाते थे वो चेक्स बना के there is a grid that is formed first so that the ratio and proportion is
Correct.
absolutely in place. So I was quite excited to do it. I did that and I started with papa's sketch only, and he was very handsome in his time. So मैंने उनके sketch से start किया and it worked really well. फिर मैंने गणेश जी बनाए उसके बाद आई गॉट सो मोटिवेटेड सो आई स्टार्टेड imitating new artists at that point of time, and
Yeah.
then there was no looking back. I always felt like doing something. फिर अगेन ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी एंड आई वाज अ टोटल बॉलीवुड फैन, तो मुझे मैंने बहुत सारे आपने देखे होंगे, मैंने करीना, करिश्मा एंड
Yes.
ऐश्वर्या, जितने भी थे उस टाइम की, जो जो भी मुझे अच्छी सी लगती थी, जिनका कितना अच्छा पिक्चर्स आ जाते थे विमेन्स एरा में, तो मैं उनको स्केच करती थी. एंड अभी रिसेंटली अगेन आई रिज्यूम्ड वाटर कलर बिकॉज वाटर कलर आई नेवर ट्राइड बिकॉज आई बिलीव दैट इट्स प्रिटी डिफिकल्ट. थोड़ा सा भी पानी ज्यादा हो जाता है, द प्रोपोर्शन गेट्स डिस्टर्ब
Yes.
एंड द पेपर स्टार्ट्स
Paper. Blotting.
ऐसे
It starts blotting,
ब्लॉटिंग,
blotting also.
ब्लॉटिंग वो स्वेल करने लगता है, सो पेपर डिफॉर्म हो जाता है. So अगर आपने
Okay.
वाटर कंटेंट बढ़ा दिया, so I was so scared, and initially I was scared of criticism and all those things, and then वो बहुत सारे inhibitions थे. But recently, I started shedding those inhibitions. मैंने कहा अभी जो होगा, because mid life आने के बाद you start realizing that nobody is watching, nobody is judging you. Why not try something?
Midlife
So
crisis.
that is
Nobody cares. Nobody
nobody
cares.
cares. Yeah, and my kids are now pretty grown up, so I thought, why not try something new? So my daughter was writing her board exams, and I thought, let me buy something, and I picked up watercolor box and a sketchbook, and that
Start.
is how I started, and I really enjoyed doing it. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to know that जब आप ये drawings, paintings करते हैं, तो क्या आपने कुछ formal education लिया है उसके लिए? See, the talent, as you said, your father was, is already very good at it. So you picked up that talent from him. But what about the formal education required, to become a proper painter, or, and, pick drawing as a art, like art form, like. So,
Uh, See, Meera, actually, what happened, मैंने कभी भी कोई फॉर्मल एजुकेशन तो नहीं ली, बट बिकॉज आई वॉज अ सेल्फ टॉट आर्टिस्ट, मैं कुछ कुछ ऐसे ही कर देती थी, स्क्रिबलिंग मोस्टली. सो आई स्टार्टेड अटेंडिंग लॉट ऑफ वर्कशॉप्स. सो मेरे जब भी
okay.
समर वेकेशंस होते थे, तो माय पेरेंट्स वुड गेट मी सम वर्कशॉप, कुछ तो करते रहो, डोंट सिट आइडल, खाली मत बैठो,
Yeah.
जो अच्छा लग रहा है वो कर लो. So I took up workshops of fabric painting. So I've painted bed sheets and pillow covers and sofa set, all those things. Then later on, I learned acrylic painting also. Sketching ke
Okay.
liye I never required anything, and that is why I could not master that art also. I haven't mastered any of it either, but yes, a little bit of workshops helped me a lot. So
Yeah. So
professional.
if you have, so basically you mean to say कि अंदर अंदरूनी टैलेंट होनी चाहिए, उसको होन करने के लिए कुछ और स्किल्स ऐड करने पड़ते हैं.
या बट आई कैन से थोड़ा बहुत टैलेंट है तो उतना काफी है, उसके बाद तो होन करना बहुत जरूरी है, थोड़ा सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन बहुत जरूरी है, दैट कंसिस्टेंसी, बिकॉज अनलेस यू प्रैक्टिस आपके फीचर्स अच्छे नहीं बनेंगे, somebody
Right.
else कुछ लगने लगेगा.
कुछ और लगने लगा. बनाने जाते हो घोड़ा लगता है गधा, ऐसा भी होता है. जैसे मेरे केस में काफी कुछ होता है, बट ठीक है, we can manage it. Okay. So I wanted, there's my next question. Okay, let us just take a few of the comments that are there. So we have Anil, Sunil Bhaiya is here. So hello Sunil Bhaiya. We have
Hello.
Anil Tiwari ji. We have Sadbir Chada ji. वो आपको hello बोल रही हैं. And then we have we have we have Gauri Shankar Yadav. We have Puneet. Hi Puneet. Puneet Lamba is a good friend of mine and a very good poet. And
lovely.
then we have Yogesh Pandit, and we have the next artist, Ashish. Ashish Panase ji has joined us.
Hi.
He's also here. Yes, and we
when
have
Ashish is here,
Yogesh
I'm going
Pandit.
to be really nervous. Ashish will make me nervous because he is amazing. He's brilliant in his art.
Yes, he has his art to a different level altogether. So we do have Ashish ji also over here. एंड सुनील जी की कमेंट है, दोनों कलाकारों का स्वागत है। सो थैंक यू सुनील जी। सुनील जी का भी
थैंक यू।
कार्यक्रम होता है विच इज कॉल्ड एज रूबरू, और ये यही नीलम सक्सेना मैम के पेज पे होता है। रूबरू में वो आपको आर्टिस्ट से कनेक्ट करवाते हैं, बल्कि मैं आर्ट से कनेक्ट करवाती हूँ। सो आप सुनील जोशी का जी भी कार्यक्रम देखिएगा, दैट इज रूबरू विच कम्स ऑन द सेम चैनल।
हाँ
एंड
जी,
सो लेट अस गो अहेड विद द
मैंने
नेक्स्ट
देखा है।
क्वेश्चन। हाँ, आपने देखा होगा। सो लेट अस गो अलोंग विद द नेक्स्ट
वो बहुत ही
क्वेश्चन।
स्वीटली कंडक्ट करते हैं उसको।
यस, ही इज एन इंस्पिरेशन, ट्रू इंस्पिरेशन। मुझे लगता है कि मैं भी इनकी तरह करूं, बट आई डाउट आई कैन कम टू दैट लेवल। But Sunil ji is definitely a charming person. So the next question that I have for you is, if you were to choose between different forms of art that you are already doing, that is writing, sketching and everything, so like, which would you prefer more, writing or
Okay.
drawing? What gives you great relief, as a outlet for your emotions? What is more better for you,
I
according to
remember
you?
Mary Curie said once, we must believe that we are all gifted for something or the other. And that particular thing, whatsoever it is, whatever it costs, it has to be attained. So मैंने हम कोई भी कसर नहीं रखी, जो भी करना है किया. I am an experimental poet and an accidental teacher. So I just follow my instincts. I unleash my idiosyncrasies. और जब मैं लिखने बैठती हूँ तो मैं ज़्यादा enjoy करती हूँ. जब मैं पेंटिंग करती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है शायद मैं पेंटिंग ज़्यादा enjoy कर रही हूँ. But at the end of the day, I think writing is something which gives me more satisfaction, because वहाँ पे कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है जो मैं शायद hide नहीं कर पाती हूँ, because I just write freely. Now, as I told you, that I have shed all my inhibitions, I don't care. So, जो है लिखना है. So that is why मुझे writing में अभी ज़्यादा मजा आने लगा है. So that is something which I think I'm going to take forward all my life. And painting is something which, of course, needs little pains. You need to, have that paraphernalia around you. So that is why it is another level of difficulty. But you cannot bring out all your expressions while painting unless you are a professional artist. And I'm not so professional. I'm just a self-taught autodidact.
Okay.
So
When we have always seen that art also helps, in mental, as a mental therapy, like, so which art form do you think is more better as a mental therapy, like, therapy के हिसाब से writing is better, or art, I mean painting is better? Because since you do both, ठीक है, mature level है तो क्या हुआ, but you are dabbling in both. So what do you think, is it writing, or is it painting or coloring or sketching or whatever, like दोनों में से कौन सा
uh,
थेरेपी के हिसाब से काम आता है?
actually, what happens is, see, while I'm busy thinking something, there are a lot of images that dance around me. So when
Okay.
I feel like expressing my thoughts or maybe venting out, that cathartic moment comes only while I'm writing. Because in writing,
Okay.
I can just write anything and everything. Later on, I can edit. But while I'm painting, there are things which go wrong, and then correction is not so possible. So of course, writing is something which has brought down my irritation level, because there are so many things that used to get bottled up many a times. So
Yes.
after I started writing and sharing, of course, and conveying things to people, even if they don't understand or they understand, I don't know. But then ultimately, that helps me get over my emotions and my thoughts that are bringing me down, and they're pulling me to any kind of depression or those sad moments. So it definitely helps. It's a cathartic moment for me.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question is, uh, that if given a chance to educate, like, I mean, obviously you are a teacher, so you are already educating the younger generation, but like, which art form would you choose to educate others? Like, I mean, uh, would you, push your students more towards, learning drawing or sketching and all that, or would you push them more towards writing? I mean, if they had to choose, and if you were supposing, honed in both, then what would you prefer to teach, like mentor your students for?
I think I would start with sketch, because sketching is something that unless you learn, you cannot graduate to the next level. So, and until and unless you practice that control over your movement of strokes, you cannot possibly paint. You need some background. So, if I were to do that, I would definitely pick up pencil and a pen and then start teaching them how to sketch, because sketch can be done within the grids and it's pretty easy. It gives you a lot of confidence. For a beginner, it is definitely, because I have done that, and with that I started. And even today, whenever I want to enlarge a picture, I would definitely bank upon the grid pattern. So
Okay.
that really helps.
So that helps. So I will also keep in mind, because I did try my hand at sketching, but as I told you, हम तो भाई पेंसिल ही छिलते रह गए, आगे कुछ हुआ नहीं हमसे, ग्रिड भी सिर्फ बना ली लेकिन वो भी सही से नहीं बनी. So the inborn talent होनी चाहिए, that is the first thing.
नहीं, वो आई एम श्योर डेफिनेटली यू वुड हैव आल्सो लर्न. बट द ओनली थिंग इज, मैंने स्केचिंग में एक चीज सीखी है. द प्रेशर ऑन द पेंसिल इज लाइक योर लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस. आप जो भी करते हो, कोई भी इंपल्सिव एक्शन नहीं लेना है, और बहुत प्रेशर डाल के नहीं करना है कि वो रब ना किया जा सके. सो इट्स लाइक गोइंग स्लो एंड टेकिंग वन स्टेप एट अ टाइम, so that you can take a step back, you can rub it, correct it, and then move ahead. So it while you're doing an art form, any form, you definitely learn a lot about life also. So sketching is
That
really
was a
helpful
very
that
good
way.
simile as well as a metaphor that you gave, that kaise, like, how the pencil is equivalent in the life. My god, that was really mind blowing. That was really art, obviously, and art imitates life and life imitates art. That is always has been,
Correct.
that has always been there. So that was a very good point you showed us over here. And my next question to you would be, uh, do you think you can still improve on your drawing, your painting? What
Of
steps would you take?
course.
What steps are you going to take for that?
I'm still a learner. I experiment a lot, and I am completely whimsical, impulsive. जब जैसा मूड आया वैसा किया. So इसीलिए, because I have a discipline of doing things regularly, consistently, but at the same time, I don't stick to one form. Sometimes I'm
Okay.
doing watercolor, sometimes I take up acrylic, and sometimes I'm sketching. कभी कभी मैं लिखना भी शुरू कर देती हूँ. So there is no consistency in the form, but definitely if I take up single form, I am going to improve a lot. But that rarely happens. Again, I told you that midlife crisis creeps in, and then you feel, अरे टाइम निकल रहा है, सब कुछ कर लो, ये भी ट्राई कर लो, ये भी ट्राई कर लो.
वो भी try कर लो.
So
Okay,
I
if you
really,
were to choose one, would you choose watercolors? Would you choose sketching, or would you, use oil pastels or charcoal? See, there are variety of forms in painting also. So, what attracts you more? Which would you take up on?
now I would definitely talk about my personality, because earlier, I mean, a decade back, जब 10 साल पुराने अगर आप प्रज्ञा से बात करते, तो शायद मैं बहुत ही बड़ी बड़ी पेंटिंग्स बनाती थी, मोर देन लाइक 4x5 feet.
Okay.
So वो पूरी आधी वॉल कवर कर लेती थी. So for that, acrylic was the best thing. So it was more of being visible. But now, with gradually with life, as I told you, that art form teaches you about life also. Gradually I've realized that my art form is getting restricted to paper and in a diary. I don't feel the need to be visible anymore. I feel that if I'm doing it, it has to be art for art's sake, for my own pleasure, for what I'm doing. And you may next time question that, then why those reels? That is for the visibility. No, it is not for visibility. It is definitely for documentation, or for the memory's sake, so that next year I'm reminded that I started in
Yeah.
May 22, something like that.
Yeah, so you
yes.
started that, and the Google board reminds you कि प्रज्ञा जी आपको ये complete करनी है painting जो आपने May 2020 में
start किया था. Correct, absolutely. So now I prefer watercolor, I prefer sketching, anything that I can carry with me. I can travel, and I can just think and do it. I don't have to plan.
Yeah. How much of hard work and effort as an artist would be needed? Like, supposing like I said, I gave up in 2 months. Okay, so I
Hmm.
mean, I really started it because I thought that okay, I have that inborn talent of my father, which I didn't have. I came to realize that within 2 months, so I just gave it up. So, do you think that how much consistent effort is needed to learn something, even if you do, if
Hmm.
you are not, if you don't have that default talent in you? अगर नहीं है
Hmm.
hereditary talent तो क्या करोगे? So how much time would it take, and
Okay,
how
okay.
much efforts would the artist require, the
Hmm.
budding
Hmm.
artist require? I mean, according to
Once
you,
I asked, yeah, once I asked the same question to my art teacher, the workshop that I attended long back when I was hardly in ninth standard. So my teacher replied that there is no fixed time, and a lifetime is also short to learn something. So it is up to you. If you want to give up, you can give up in 2 months, and if you don't want to give up, you will never give up. You will be a forever learner. So basically there is no set limit. It's only how much time and effort you put in something will determine how fast you are going to grow in that. So it actually, see, for us, for you and I, we have a different profession, so we can afford to spend some time on our vocation, like painting and writing and doing anything. So we don't
yeah.
invest so much time. So investment is very important. So जितना भी हम my mother used to say कि जितना गुड़ डालेंगे उतना ही मीठा होगा. So it is,
True.
art is also like that.
जितनी एफर्ट
So
डालोगे, जितनी पेशेंस डालोगे,
उतना
उतना
अच्छा
शायद
होगा.
होन कर पाओगे. Okay, so we'll
बिल्कुल.
just take up a few more comments. So we have Bharatveer Bhatnagar, who has joined us. Sunil Joshi ji की comments आप please बाद में पढ़ लीजिएगा because he's on a roll right now. We have Juhi ji, who has joined us, enjoying the convo. Nivedita di is also over here. She's saying hello to
Hello दी.
you. Yes, Aparna ji bhi hai yahan par. Namaskar, Aparna di.
नमस्ते
And
अपर्णा दी.
she's also another artist that
Oh my
I would
God.
really
Oh my God.
उनकी
मतलब मुझे
paintings भी
अपर्णा दी के आने के बाद अब मुझे शर्म आ रही है, उनकी पेंटिंग्स मैंने खुद देखी हैं गोवा में. सो द काइंड ऑफ आर्टिस्ट दैट शी इज, इंटरनेशनल लेवल की आर्टिस्ट है वो तो.
but I believe every artist, I mean, आप जो करते हैं that you are doing it more for your mental wellness. I would put it like that,
Absolutely.
and you
I
have that
absolutely.
inborn talent. Whereas Aparna Di has also honed her talent. Even Sunil Ashish ji has also honed his talent, and they are at a very different level, professional level पर है. हम यहाँ पर
Correct.
amateurs की अगर बात करते हैं तो वहां पर आप आते हैं जहाँ आपका भी एक अलग ही लेवल है. Even you have won quite, I mean, आपने शेयर किया था, so even you have won a few
बचपन
awards.
में. Yes.
बचपन में नहीं, अभी आप कोशिश करोगे तो अभी भी आपको अवार्ड्स मिल जाएंगे.
It still gives me those butterflies. Even today I feel like doing something, but then मुझे पता है it will be at the cost of my writing. So again, I'm juggling between the two forms of art.
Yes. See, Aparna Di का एक message है, if you have determination, nothing is impossible. So yes, we
Absolutely.
agree to that. Absolutely.
Very true.
And Nivedita Di का आपके लिए message है, Prags making Lucknow proud. अब ये लखनऊ
Oh,
वाले
thank
सब
you.
इकट्ठा होने वाले हैं यहाँ पर.
वो भी एक inspiration है, the way she conducts her
Yes,
shows.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes.
Amazing.
And it's truly an honor, to be amidst all these lovely people today. And
I'm so
coming
happy that
back to,
all our family members have joined. So they
yes,
are more family members than,
yes,
yeah,
they have definitely become a family.
become.
Yes. So with this, I guess we have covered all the topics that were there for tonight. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. And a special thanks to you, Pragya, कि आप आए हमारे show पर. And thanks to Neelam Di for giving such a lovely platform where I can chat with such lovely artists and connect the audience to such lovely people. And those who do not know Pragya ji, so you can just google her and आपको अच्छी खासी list मिल जाएगी about her. You will come to know
Thank you so
a
much,
lot
Meera. That's
about
really
her.
sweet of you. And I must admire here that your poetry, the collection spec is amazing,
Oh,
and I loved
oh,
it because
thank
it is
you.
also, yeah, it's all about mental wellness and it's about human emotions too. So I could connect well. So the art connect
Yes.
is there also, and
Yes.
thanks for inviting me and having me here. It was lovely conversing with you.
It was lovely talking with you too. And here we bid adieu to all our audience. So thank you everybody for joining in. See you
Thank you,
at the next
everyone.
meet. Bye. Good
See you. Bye
night.
bye. Good night.